You really think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana?
What will people think?
Let them talk.
Dana.
Ivana. It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large.
There is a feeling of security out in the streets and now. People are walking free now as never before, and they never needed no security forces to do this. We took a little bit of loveliness to get together now, and the get-together spirit is making the people feel alright now. Out in the streets and now, as never before. Day and night now, I miss your feeling of joy now. Out in the streets and now. You know, stick some brother Claude, brother Tony.
7/7/2005, we were told on TV by Peter Power of Visor Consultants that they and the private company employing them, who helped choose the scenario for it, were running a mock terrorist drill in the London Underground, with practically the same scenario as what actually really happened on that day. In other words, the actual mock anti-terror drill that the BBC Panorama programme of May 2004 had outlined had been chosen by Visor's client to be carried out on the very same day that 4 Muslim suicide bombers also chose the same scenarios that Visor's client had chosen for the mock drill, causing real and devastating explosions on 3 London tube trains and 1 road vehicle. Please think about that unbelievable set of coincidences for a few seconds to let the implications of it sink in. Then, please ask yourself, what are the odds against all of that happening by chance?
Just to get this right, you were actually working today on an exercise that envisioned virtually this scenario.
Almost precisely. I was up until 2 o'clock this morning because it's our job, my own company, Visor Consultants. We specialise in helping people to get their crisis management response. How do you jump from slow time thinking to quick time doing? And we chose a scenario with their assistance which is based on a terrorist attack because they're very close to a property occupied by Jewish businessmen. They're in the city, and there are more American banks in the city than there are in the whole of New York. A logical thing to do. And I've still got the...
How extraordinary today must feel for you as it unfolds.
In his TV video clip, Peter Power states that their customer helped to choose the exact scenario. I repeat, Visor's customer helped to choose the exact scenario. To this day, Peter Power refuses to publicly identify the customer who chose the exact scenario. Why? The footage of the 3rd chapter title, Foreign Security Firms. Can they be trusted? Verint Systems is the security firm that is responsible for the CCTV surveillance cameras in the London Underground rail network, and it is an Israeli company with approximately 1,000 employees. No CCTV for Muslims boarding the tube trains has been released by Verint, who claimed that their cameras were not working. Why? Because the 4 Muslims were not on the tube trains that blew up.
Ironic, isn't it?
I'm not sure that's technically irony.
What? This is like O. Henry and Alanis Morissette had a baby and named it this exact situation.
Introducing Verint Face Detect.
In the aftermath of 9/11,
rumours swirled around the globe alleging a Jewish conspiracy. The Israeli secret police were alleged to have tipped off Jewish workers in the Twin Towers.
And in London, after 7/7, there were similar allegations of warnings received by Jewish people. 7/7 ripple effect questions whether Israel could have been part of a grand conspiracy.
Was the London bombing a covert MI5 operation or an Israeli Mossad operation?
There was a credible news report that day that Israeli officials at the embassy in London were warned about the impending attacks.
Let me just read this from the Associated Press newswire. Senior Israeli official says Scotland Yard told Israel minutes before explosions that it had received warnings of possible terror attacks.
On 7/7, the Israeli embassy was staging a trade convention for top international financiers at this hotel at Liverpool Street.
Among the guests were the Israeli ambassador and Benjamin Netanyahu, then Israeli finance minister, but Mr. Netanyahu never arrived. In the confusion after the attacks, Associated Press reported that Scotland Yard had tipped off the Israeli delegation. Is that why Mr. Netanyahu didn't show up at the conference? Amir Gilad was Benjamin Netanyahu's media advisor and was at his side during his time in London. Mr. Netanyahu and his team were staying at this hotel in Mayfair. On the morning of 7/7, they were preparing to drive across London to the conference at Liverpool Street.
We were eating breakfast here about 8:30, a quarter to 9 o'clock in the morning. We were supposed to get out of the hotel around 9 o'clock towards Liverpool Street.
Just round the corner from Liverpool Street, the conference was just getting underway. Jerry Lewis is a journalist who was covering the event.
There were about 250 people here. Leaders of industry from Israel, leaders of industry from Britain.
Some breaking news. Reports are just coming in of an explosion.
At 8:50, a bomb ripped through a tube train just after leaving Liverpool Street Station. In Mayfair, Mr. Netanyahu was about to leave for the conference.
On the way out of the dining hall, I bumped into a British policeman who said, wait, don't go out because something happened in the Liverpool Street area. We understood that it was an explosion. So we stayed in the hotel.
So there was a warning, but only after the attack. This photograph shows Jerry Lewis with the Israeli ambassador 2 minutes after that bomb went off. None of the important guests knew in advance. It was only an hour after the bomb exploded that the hotel was evacuated.
Had they known anything, this conference at 9 o'clock would never have started. They would have cleared everybody out way in advance. They would not have allowed people of the caliber that were here to have remained here.
There is no evidence of any warning before the attacks. The Israeli embassy say they weren't tipped off. Associated Press told us their report was based on incorrect information from a senior Israeli source. And Scotland Yard say they didn't have any advance knowledge and gave no warning. Like the conspiracy theory suggesting Jewish workers were warned to stay away from the Twin Towers on 9/11, the 7/7 Israeli warning is fiction.
I think it's a fairy tale, like other fairy tales that we are used to be involved in during history as Israelis and as Jews. I think it's outrageous even to think that the Israeli security services are involved in this.